We are just after the All-Star break, All-Star game. Um, so we're gonna spend this episode talking about the All-Star game because it was so wonderful. And let's start with the skills competition. I'm kidding.
I was gonna say I didn't watch it.
Like, oh my god.
I'm like, uh-oh. But I'm
All
sure I could fake it.
all I did you do turnovers and
missed
missed
shots.
shots on the All-Star game.
Yeah, well, there was hundreds considering nobody was actually trying.
I mean, it's just what are we doing, people? What are we doing? I saw Sid and Ovechkin like on a line together, and they're just passing back and forth, and the poor goaltender's like, "Would you just score already? I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, it was just the stupidest thing ever. Like, why are we even?" Anyway, I know you're not a big fan of the All-Star game, so it's just
We used to be good when the players actually tried. It was lit. Now it's just like, what is this? Like, I'd rather actually go to a circus and watch, like, acrobats and like blind teamers and all that stuff. No, thank you. I will not support the All-Star game. I did, however, watch the one with John Scott because I thought what Bettman did was absolutely awful. He got voted in, but said no because he was traded or whatever. He was dropped from the Sharks, and I was just like, yeah, when I was a Shark fan, so it's been that long, and because I just wanted to give the support John Scott. Like, he's such a nice guy. He didn't deserve that at all. And then Bettman having to hand him over that check. Woo!
What was the deal with that? So John Scott was basically like a minor player, but there was like a voting thing kind of thing for him or something like that. So
well, he just got voted in. Like, fans voted him in.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he was just voted in, and then Bettman
there was this discrepancy or something. My recollection can be a little shady, but he ended up getting traded to Montreal, and then Montreal ended up demoting him to their AHL team. And Bettman's like, yeah, well, he's not eligible to play. He didn't want him in there to begin with because he's not technically an all-star. But with a lot of people, campaigning and they got him in, and then he scored a couple goals. His team won. It was beautiful. I'll never forget it.
Why would you be against something like that? You should embrace something like that. Yeah, okay. So what? He's not on the level of the greats of the game or something. Like, it's so what? It's fun and it's harmless.
Yeah, I think the All-Star game would do a lot better if they let the fans vote in whatever players they want. Of course, you're going to get your superstars in there, but then you might get your odd player that's not a superstar, but that is just loved by the fans. Like, they're trying to grow the game, but they're doing an awful job at it, like pandering to the public with this woke business. And still conversations are going on over Ivan Provorov. I don't know if I said his name right, and his stance, his religious stance or whatever. Like, it's like, I think if they focus on the hockey and the rules of the game and tightening up the officiating, I mean, the game will grow. It's an amazing sport. Like, it's literally the best sport ever made. It's just people don't give it a chance because they don't know if they're going to like it. And the NHL, like I said, is doing a horrible job trying to grow it.
It surprises me that Gary Bettman has been in charge for
as long as he has, like
30 years at least. Like, give someone else a chance. Like, maybe somebody has different ideas on how to run things besides the same guy for 30 some years. That's ridiculous.
I just don't like that he doesn't like Canada, and he doesn't like our money, and he doesn't like, whatever, having more teams up here, because we have the viewership. People will go to the games, like, for example, Toronto. It's hard to go to a Toronto game. Personally, I don't like sitting up in the upper bowl. I can't see anything. I like to sit down low. So if I want to get glass seats, I'm looking at like $500 to $1,000 per seat. For the Leafs, like, I paid that much to see Pittsburgh play, but I mean, I just can't justify it. And I'm definitely not going up top. That's why I go to Pittsburgh for most of my games, or Detroit. It's just better. I could go up to, there's other places I could go, but I'm just saying Gutman sucks. He sucks.
When the Leafs play in Pittsburgh and it's a like Saturday game or something like that, they take over the PPG Paints Arena because of the reason you just said. It is too expensive to go to a game in Toronto. It is way easier to travel to Pittsburgh to see a game there, which is absolutely ridiculous. We've talked about this before. Toronto can easily support 2 NHL teams.
Well, that's
easily.
true, but it's also too, it's been difficult for through the pandemic. Myself, I'm not vaccinated, and your government doesn't want me in the, I'm sorry, I'm just getting over a cold, so I'm a little runny. Your government won't let me in. I haven't been to a hockey game in longer than, I was just talking to actually friend Josh about it. I miss Pittsburgh. I miss hockey. I want to get back down there. I can't go to any games, Joe.
I have good news and bad news. I think they're lifting that restriction in May or something.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to do that on camera.
so really, if you want to come see a game in Pittsburgh, you gotta hope they go deep in the playoffs.
Oh no, that's not happening. I'm figuring next October I'll be back.
Like I said, I have the was it the third week in April? I think that's when the playoffs start, and I'm gonna miss it, and I don't think I'm gonna miss it at this point. But anyway, let's get to that. The Penguins at the break are in, I believe, the last spot for the playoffs.
I missed hockey so much. Yeah, they're sitting in the last wild card spot. You've got Buffalo with 56 points, a point behind them, and then the Islanders another point behind them. It's so tight. Even Ottawa is not that far out. Ottawa's got 51 points.
Ottawa is right there. The Panthers are right there. The
Flyers,
Islanders,
Detroit.
The Flyers are close. The Flyers are close. Oh, if the Flyers catch up. They are at a crossroads. They are, and they play a lot of games coming up. I think I saw. Well, I mean, they play. I mean, there's 30. They've played
49 games.
They played 49 games, so I have 33 left. At 33, and I believe 60 days or something, almost exactly 2 months.
Yeah, March is hectic.
It
March
is
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 games in March.
Here's where we are at. The trade deadline. It is currently February 6th. The trade deadline is less than a month away.
Can we trade Hextall?
Well, that's a thing. That's the thing.
Sullivan?
Let's talk about that. Sullivan is never being traded or being fired because he signed a long contract, and they just love him so much. These are the things that your beloved Penguins Twitter tells me. They love Sullivan so good, and they love him so much, and none of this is his fault. He's just a perfect baby angel. So we can't ever touch Sullivan. Is it?
No, I have some respect for Sullivan, but I have lost some respect for Sullivan. I just don't. I don't think he's doing this team any justice anymore. And protecting him and keeping him, signing him, it's just signing up players like Russ to 6 more years with a no trade clause. Get over it. I just seen a mutual on Twitter tweeted this, and I'm gonna say it, but I'm gonna clean it up a bit. Not a fan of the no movement trade clause, limited team, no trade clauses. I get why a player would want it, but honestly, it's a joke. You make millions to play a sport. 18-year-olds make squat, are in school, and can be traded to Moose Jaw whenever. No say. bleep play hockey. Like, yeah.
But so who wants the no trade clause? Like, let's say a Brian Rust negotiates with the Penguins. Now, at the time, Brian Rust was basically considered, oh, he's a goner. There's no way he's going to sign. The Penguins are going to be able to re-sign him, but they did. So who is it? Is it was it the what is it, management that said to him, okay, please stay, we'll give you this much money, but we'll also make a no trade clause? Or did his people say, hey, I don't want to go anywhere, make sure you have a no trade clause in there? I don't know who wanted that. I don't know.
I think it might be, I think maybe it was a bad idea. I think like, I'm still really upset over this.
We talked about all the no trade clauses. Basically every single almost every single major player on this team has a no trade clause, or a limited no movement clause, whatever that is. So yeah, so their hands are tied. But I think one problem is for the Penguins for the first part of the season is they make mistakes of like that a bunch of rookies would make. Like the that overtime game where they scored, but I think it was against New Jersey. They scored, but Pettersson went over the boards too quickly, and they negated the goal, and then they lost the game in overtime. That's something that's.
Oh yeah, they're making a lot of, like what you're saying, a lot of rookie mistakes. I mean, even Sydney does his call when he's looking for a line change. He's messed up at that a few times, even causing a goal. I mean, saying he didn't cause a goal, but he's better on the ice than off the ice. In that sense.
Yeah, the whole line change thing, that's another thing. It's like sometimes they're poor at line changes. That's something you would expect from a team that doesn't know each other very well, or a bunch of rookies. And another thing is just poor defensive assignments, poor, the opposing team like having excellent chances and stuff because like, oh, well, I thought you get them, or both defensemen are behind the net or something like that. It's like you'd think they'd be smarter. You'd think, a team that's not used to playing with each other would make mistakes like that. But this is a veteran team that should know each other very well, and they don't.
Yeah, well, you know what? They wanted to keep it that way because they were trying to hold on to the past. And that doesn't work. You need to keep things interchanging. You can keep a few core pieces, but everyone else has to keep switching until you find things. Like, things aren't working. For example, I don't want Rust on the top line. I don't think he belongs there. Sure, he has some good days. Sure, he doesn't. What I would do as his coach, demote him. Third line, sorry, bud. Bring up one of the top, bottom sixers and give them a chance up on Sydney. I know it's going to work. I know it's going to be fine. Or likewise for Gensel, like, send him down. Demote. These players are too protected when they're not performing. They're not delivering, and it's like I go crazy as a coach watching them play. I'm losing my mind, and you see it. Like, I have notes upon notes upon notes upon notes. I don't even know what I'm doing with these anymore. Like, I'm definitely losing my mind. Well, this team has definitely caused me to lose my mind, but now it's making me absolutely mad. I'm going mad.
Yeah. It's we've touched on this so many times. One thing I've heard, I mean, people are asking, it's like, well, what kind of trades should they make? People keep saying, well, the top six are fine, but it's the bottom six that's a disaster. So what kind of trades should they make? It's like, well, we talked about this. There's so little that they could do because of salary cap and because of these lovely no trade clauses. So they are very limited, but it would be cool to see them get another top six wing and then bring Rust down to that third line. That would be a pretty good third line if you have Brian Rust on the third line.
Why not? Why do we have to be top heavy? Like, why not distribute our players so that we have a well-oiled machine? Carolina, Look at their team. They're unbelievable. Okay, Boston's good too. Well, Boston's really good, but Carolina plays like a well-tuned, well-oiled machine. And it's very important to be able to diversify your lines so that you have something working. Like I see a lot of people saying, oh, I want to see Raquel back on Sydney's line. No, we don't need that. That second line is perfecto. If that changes, it's just going to make us worse, you know. Sydney can play. Okay, so yes, it is hard to play with Sydney, very hard. But he can play with anyone, and he brings out the best in players. We've seen this time and time again. Well, I have. You've probably seen it more, being a lifelong Pens fan. But it's silly to me to keep players in positions that they're not earning the spot. You know, like demote down. Just like when I recommended Kapanen be benched, demote. Players will start feeling uncomfortable. Okay, I am protected here, but I don't like playing on the third line and getting less minutes. I want to be up with the superstar getting the most minutes, the most play. But the players that get the most play are the players that produce. That's why I'm going crazy over Danton Heinen. I don't understand why he has little ice time and he's been scratched so many times. The kid, and I don't know why I keep calling him a kid. I guess considering our age difference, I can. He can play. He's a player you want on your team, on your bench every game. I don't care. Love me some Heinen.
What about?
Oh, I should be looking at
What about Kapanen on
I'm
Crosby's
worried about Kapanen
line?
getting traded. If he's if he can go, he might be gone.
It's possible. There. It's just such a shame because there's so much talent there and so much speed, but it hasn't been working. It might be one of those things where it's like it's not working here, it's going to work somewhere else. But just
I like Kapanen. I do. I like how he came out after his what would we call it?
Benching. You got benched.
Like I like that player that came out in him. But Kapanen tends to be a little. He forgets his place, and he needs to be reminded. And that's Sullivan's job and the captain's job to remind him. But like if I look at Kapanen, he doesn't make too many errors. Like when I'm looking at my notes, he's not producing as much, but he can move. We need that speed. Like you can't unless you replace him with a faster skater. Losing him would hurt us.
Imagine him on with Crosby and Gensel. I think that would be amazing.
They played together.
But that was a long time ago though. That was like a couple years ago.
Sydney likes playing with him. That might be a Sydney thing. I'm not sure.
It could be.
I would be. Imagine. Oh, I'm just getting all excited now. Imagine Heinen, Kapanen, and Sydney just for a game. See what happens. Imagine they ended up like killing it, and so it's like, okay, we're gonna try that again tomorrow night, and then they killed it again, and then they killed it again. Like I've been saying since the beginning of this season, play with the lineup. Now we don't have enough time to do that really now. I mean, you do, but you don't. He's either going to keep running with the same BS. Sorry, let me get caught up in my notes because we lost 6-4 to San Jose. Beautiful. We lost to Washington, and then we won. Oh yeah, we beat. Oh my gosh, I'm out of it.
No,
Florida.
who did we? What happened?
We lost. Okay, so we on the last 4 games we won 1 and lost 3.
Yeah.
So, but Sullivan ran with the same line. He kept the same line pretty much. Yeah. And why? Why are you playing with that? Like it's so frustrating to me.
Well, if you like Malkin with Zucker and Raquel, I'm afraid I have some bad news because apparently Raquel is going back on the top line and Rust is going back with Malkin and Zucker.
Okay. Well, enjoy losing, Pittsburgh.
Whatever, man. That's hey.
I don't even care at
Yeah,
this point.
yeah. I mean, nothing we
Whatever.
can
If
do
it works,
about
it
it.
works. But taking apart your best line.
Hey, yeah.
who are these people in honestly, well, I'm angry now. I'm really angry now. That was a beautiful line. You know what? Sydney and his feelings had just about enough of those.
Another thing that happened recently is Ron Hextall. Ron Hextall woke up. He's like the groundhog. He got out of his his cave and he saw his shadow. So that means 6 more weeks of no trades or moving anything. Congratulations. Good job, Ron Hextall. I guess the most significant thing of what he said is he kind of trashed the bottom 6 in a nice way. He said when asked if the bottom six would be a target area, Hextall responded, "I think it's fair to say the chemistry there hasn't been like we hoped it would be. Over the course of the year, it hasn't been that great.
Over the course of the year, maybe not. Oh, I'm getting fired up, Joe. The bottom 6, what line was it that day? The third line was like unbelievable in the last couple of games.
That is another change, is that Carter is back as the third line center.
Well, he belongs there, but it should be fourth line. I mean, he doesn't deserve third line minutes. Just give me the team already.
Archibald hopefully is coming back, and you have your fourth line of Bluger.
Like Archibald,
but I mean, he's. There was that one game where it was a really good fourth line, and then of course they had to break it up.
I don't think I liked him though, did I?
I don't remember. There was one game where the fourth line was okay, but apparently Archibald is a high energy guy, and Bluger, Paling, and Archibald are an okay fourth line. And hopefully Kapanen is coming back soon too. So your third line would be Jeff Carter centering.
Carter and Kapanen?
No, McGinn. McGinn, Carter, and Kapanen.
And the Heinen's out?
Heinen is out.
I think Jen might be out too. I think I want to go pick a team there. You know, I'm actually really liking, and you're gonna hate me for this, but I'm really liking what's his name? Tortorella. I'm liking him. I'm liking how he's coming out. He even wrote a letter to all the what are they called? The people that have tickets all the time?
Season ticket holders. Saying
give us hang in there with us. We're getting there. I think the Flyers might be on the rise. I'm not I know this is like I'm dirty. I'm cussing on this.
I mean,
but I like them.
They're only 6 points out of a playoff spot.
And they had a rough start. So
it's gonna be a really interesting month. And the weird thing is
Heinen's out. I'm so upset. I'm sorry. I'm not over that.
Yeah. There's because Brock McGinn is so wonderful. But yeah, depending on how February goes, you might have no choice,
but to pick another team.
To pick another team, yeah, because they might be way out of a playoff spot. They might be
This is destroying this team. This team is destroying. It's not good. This is not good. This is all bad news that I'm hearing. I'm very upset.
The options are, they say, well, should you blow up the team and rebuild and stuff like that? It's like, that would be really dumb. But what can they do? It's like, if you're not even going to make the playoffs, like come at the end of February, why even make trades for, why even make trades to try to get into the playoffs? Why not, at that point you might become like a mini seller and get rid of, Dumoulin is not going to be here next year. Zucker is probably not going to be here next year. Bluger, Heinen, Yeah, Doolin. Jari is not going to be here next year. Maybe trade him. I don't know. They might be mini sellers at the trade deadline if February goes bad.
Well, let's take a look. I think that I'm already pissed off and I might protest. Colorado, Anaheim, LA, San Jose, Islanders, Devils, Islanders, Oilers, Blues, Bolts, Predators. Yeah, they'll win 50. They'll win half of them.
Half of them.
Yeah.
Is that going to be good enough? I'm thinking no.
No, this team's in trouble. And what you just told me just like I was upset after our last podcast, not like at you, but just upset over like sitting there thinking like this is a professional team and it's being run like a beer league. It's just
so obviously trading everybody. Well, first of all, trading everybody is impossible because of these no trade. But even if they could quote unquote rebuild, that's a really bad look for an ownership that just bought the team not that long ago. Say, hey, this team that has made the playoffs for 16, 17 consecutive years, we're done with that. We're not even making the playoffs. Obviously, Hextall has to go. You have at that point, you have to make major changes. But
I still don't understand why he was brought in. I don't understand that. Like,
I think it was a really tough situation because Rutherford, I think, really screwed them by leaving it. Like, what was it? Like the first week in the season or something like that. I don't know it was a really weird thing. He left in the middle of the season, and I think that
I think there's some issues with like the owners and management. The owners are like, I can't. It's a mess. It's a mess. They're a mess.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
And it's at this point, we don't know if there's going to be any help coming. We don't know if there's going to be any trades. The only trade maybe they can make is, to trade somebody, that you don't want to trade, because otherwise, there was a thought as well. What if you gave away, a player that's not good, but included a first round draft pick or something like that? It's like, do you really want to mess with the future anymore? We've already traded all the first round draft picks, and that's partially why we're in the situation we're in. So that's what that's what these talks are becoming. Just me making just being sad, just me making you angry. I'm getting, that's it. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to find ways to piss you off. That's it.
Me?
Well, it's every time we just get angry about after these talks, because we're just so frustrated about what's going on.
It started off with us just laughing. I like that. We should go back to laughing, and now anger.
We should go back to laughing when they re-signed Malkin and Letang. We just laughed.
Sure, you know what? I'm upset.
But I don't. But the thing is that I don't think Malkin and Letang are the problems.
No, I mean, Letang's not as good as, he's not worth 6.
Well,
I don't know how to say this nicely.
Do you think he's already starting to show his age? I think.
Oh yeah.
I think
he was not having a good season.
Yeah, I agree.
Excuse me.
I'm
so sorry.
Let's look at some of the deals the things that Ron Hextall has done in the past to get us
friends and family.
Brought in his friends and family. His first of all,
at least he knows how to treat his friends. That's a good thing.
That's nice. You always want to be good to your friends and family. Yeah, sure.
Especially if they look out after you.
Yeah.
Loyalty.
Important. They traded John Marino to New Jersey in a deal that brought Ty Smith. And then they traded Mike Matheson to Montreal in a deal that brought back Jeff Petrie and Ryan Poehling. I
was not happy about either of those.
Yeah.
And they haven't really panned out either. So
an old team got older.
But slower.
Yeah, yeah, and you know they brought in Smith, and then where is he now? He's in
I want him
Wilkes-Barre.
to so
You know, because we have to play Chad Ruedel,
all my favorite
who's
players
not having a good play, who's not having a
don't
good
play
year.
for this team anymore.
Yeah,
Well, I said
yeah.
my favorite players like Heinen scratch. Smith is sent back to Wilkes-Barre, whatever it's called, and it's like Jen's just sitting there watching, going, I know Timbit players that play better than this, that can do line changes better than this, that don't turn over the puck as many times.
It was about a year ago in January of 2022, Teddy Bluger in a game, his jaw broke, and ever since then,
Yeah, he's broken. Same thing happened to Dumoulin.
Yeah, yeah.
And Letang with his neck. When you suffer, and Malkin with his knee, like when you suffer an injury, it scares you. Like it could happen again. It could take me out, lowers my value, could end my career. Like all these things weigh on you. This is why mental health. It's good to have someone there that deals with the mentality of things. Like this is what I specialize in. So if it were me, I would be talking to Bluger and I'd be working him up mentally so that he would get past that fear and be able to play hockey like he would play. You know what I mean? Look at Murray. He got in his head. Matt Murray, he got in his head and he fell apart. Now he's in Toronto playing for his Pops team and he's killing it. Sure, he has a few moments, but have you watched him? Like his glove side has improved. I'm sitting there like all excited. I'm like, go Murray.
Good for him. Good for him.
It's great. Like, but this can all be done if you have the will to play and you have the will to practice. Everything will come together if you utilize all the right pieces. So I think this team lacks someone that can, motivate and utilize the roster more efficiently and, bring out players from their funk. That's a good coach, takes care of all that, doesn't just hope for the best. Ugh.
Yeah. Then let's get to July of 2021, which was when the Seattle had the expansion draft.
Oh, my heart. You're gonna make me cry.
I'm gonna make you cry. I'm gonna make me cry. So you had to give a protected list, and they made the decision to protect Jeff Carter, who at the time was 37.
Ron should have been out the door right in that moment. Bye. We see where your interests lay. Bye-bye.
Also, in that expansion draft, they lost. Somehow, you're only supposed to lose one player, but the Penguins lost
trade or something.
They traded Jared McCann to Toronto,
and he didn't even play a game there.
Toronto, yeah, he basically Seattle took him from Toronto, and so we traded McCann and lost Brandon Tanev.
That hurt so bad.
It hurt a lot. That dude was special.
Yeah, he was.
Speed. He was physical.
He played with heart. He was probably one of the most important players on our team. And for Hextall to be like, goodbye, I'm just like, you protected, I'm getting sweating now. I'm getting all.
By the way, you see McCann's stats? Mm-hmm. What, he might score like 45 goals this year.
I know. Hextall should not be working for this team.
That's a fireable offense right there.
Absolutely. Protecting Carter, like you're protecting your boy.
Yeah. Then in January of 2022, they gave him a 2-year contract extension.
To be fair, he was very good for us. up to
Yes.
that point.
Yes.
But yeah, with aging players, I wouldn't look to do more than 1 year. I'd go 1 year at a time personally. I don't know how things work. Like I said, I'm not a GM. I'm a coach, so that kind of stuff I don't get, but you're getting old, injuries, Go ahead.
I
Let
was
it
going to
out.
say, what are you doing giving a 2-year contract to a guy that's 38? How many 38-year-olds are playing at a high level?
It's not
Or
like he's
39
Yammer
or
Yager. Like,
40? Yeah, he's not
you
Yager.
know, yeah, I don't get it. And Carter has not been what he was for us this season prior. You know what I mean? Like
He fell off. His
fell
play
off.
has fallen off because that's what happens when you get old. Your play just you lose your legs, you lose your hands, and boom, it falls off a cliff. And
Yeah,
now
no,
they're stuck with him.
it's ugly. I mean, I'm glad he's moved back to center. He does belong on the center. He could always, like I said, transfer to the wing, but I don't think he's a third liner. I don't know what Sullivan's doing. Sullivan is out of his mind. And I'm going to write a book about it.
There you go. There was there was also something when Hextall talked. He said we would like to have a $2 million cushion. I would like to have $2 million in free space to in case moves need to be made or something like that. Hey, bro.
What are you gonna get for $2 million?
Well, just to have that space to, like, in case you need to make moves or something like that. Instead of $2 million, he has about he's basically like no space at all, like right up at the cap. And that even when they wanted to bring up Smith, they couldn't. There were the moves that they could not make because they were right up against the cap. So what are you doing, dude? What were you doing? And they brought back Kapanen. I understand. I get it. Why he has a potential fine, but they brought him back at a price that was way higher than he deserved. Way higher.
Ron Hextall is in the wrong business. I said it. I'll say it. I'll scream it on top of my house later. Maybe you'll hear it in Pittsburgh. I'm over it. He does not know what he's doing. Both him and Sullivan can just skip on out together.
When he was brought in by the previous ownership, they basically said, we still want to compete for a championship, but also we want to replenish the farm system. It's like, how do you do both of those at the same time? That's almost impossible. But they took it on, and I don't know. We're screwed.
Exactly. Yeah, even like the longevity of the Pittsburgh the next few years doesn't look too
well. I don't know about that, only because their space will become available at some point. Zucker is making 5.5 million. In theory, he could be gone. That frees up 5.5 million. Bluger's making 2.2 million. Ugh. He could be gone. Heinen's making $1 million. Dumoulin's making 4.1 million. So you're gonna have like 11, 12 million off the books to do something. So in theory, if they play it right, in future years, they could be better. But oh boy, I don't know. They're at a crossroads, and it's up to them. There is no one else. There's no one can help you except yourselves.
Yeah, well, there's also all kinds of other factors that play into this. And I think that as a business, you want to run things, effectively. And they're not doing it on all ends. Sullivan with his bench and Ron Hextall with his decisions. It's really scary to think that these guys are in charge. And I'm so upset about what you've told me tonight. I'm going to be upset for like a week now.
Okay.
Why
Okay.
do you scratch one of your most productive players? Making mistakes. Um,
Because he is Sullivan is mad at him for some reason.
I'm
So
over Sullivan and his feelings too, bro. This is a job.
yeah,
Like, come on. I don't know. I guess he doesn't like winning.
I guess not. I guess not. And it's what we've said over and over again. There's nothing changes because nothing has to change because there's no repercussions.
You know what? I actually remember when Kapanen was moved to the third line. Oh, I'm having a flashback. Yeah, you know what? No, I can't say. But it's funny. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, okay. Hextall aside, focusing on the next 33 games. That's what we have. 30. Would you say 33?
33 games. Yes.
If we keep playing the way we're playing, we're not going to make the playoffs. And if we do, we're out in the first round. We could still have a chance to have a deeper playoff push if Sullivan played the bench better. Like if he ran his bench better, literally up and down. I'm over it. I'm so over it. Like
I think it's bench management is important, but I also think they just need to be smarter and just play better defensively. Come on. Don't leave. That's the other thing. Jari is hurt. Who knows when he's coming back from this groin thing? You got to play better in front of the goaltender. Don't you recognize
he protects the net? Every player on the ice needs to protect our goaltender. Period.
When the Penguins played in the Stanley Cup final against the Red Wings in 2008, the first time they played them, well, actually both times they played them, I believe Chris Osgood was the goaltender, and Chris Osgood wasn't that good, but it didn't matter because the Red Wings
giving me 90s and 2000s flashbacks, and I'm getting all happy again.
But it was so frustrating. It was so frustrating because Osgood was not good, but you didn't have a chance in hell of getting near him because their defense was so good. You couldn't get a shot off. That's what they need. They need to recognize, hey, our goaltender needs help. Let's help him out. Let's have a more defensive mindset. And maybe
you got to protect your goaltender. It's very important.
You have to stop leaving him out to dry. Stop leaving him on easy shots, breakaways, 2-on-1. Stop doing that.
It's nuts.
Stop this drop pass crap too. Be more responsible.
Oh, and another thing too, I was thinking about over the break. We suck at penalty shots, breakaways, and shootouts. We suck. Even our best players suck. No confidence, no swagger, weak attempts. It's ugly. That is something Pittsburgh needs to work on, especially considering how often we go to overtime.
Practice. Yeah.
Clean up your shots. Get confident again. Own it. Like sometimes I wonder if these guys even like playing hockey. It looks painful. Like, are you having fun out there?
It does. It does. We haven't even talked about the power play. The power play has been an absolute joke. The power play is actually a liability. There's more of a chance of getting a shorthand goal.
Shorthanded. So many this season.
Power play. They what is their record in overtime this year? It is pathetic. If they were just halfway decent in overtime, we wouldn't be talking about they're in the last playoff spot. No. They would be easily either in the first wild card or maybe even they would be over better than the Rangers.
No, they'd be right up there.
Yeah. That's just they're so bad in overtime.
It's funny, actually. I was at a Pens practice back in 2019, and I had to stop myself from laughing. I was watching Sullivan and what he was doing, and I'm like, but we don't have problems in that area. We need to work on this. I got to dig out my notes because I took notes.
Oh no! Notes.
But I have to find that. That's so funny because I was cussing Sullivan. Oh my god, did I find it? I did. October 21st, 2019. Groups, no. Where is it? Overall cons, too many. Hold on. Well, why are we bothering running this drill when there's no, and I explained the drill, but I don't really know how to explain it again. Running this drill, I'm like, Sydney appears to have more fun during practice than he does in games. Number 12, whoever that is, has terrible timing. I took notes on the players as well, but I'm like, why are we running these drills when we're not focusing on what we need to be focusing on, like accuracy of shot accuracy, power play, because we do a lot of passing on the power play. Even back then, it was like waiting for like fancy do. You know, I call it hot potato play, because it's like do, take a shot. Like I wonder how many people are actually screaming like shoot the puck during a power play, Penn's power
all
play.
the time.
And like probably a lot of people. But yeah, there's a lot of notes here. I'm crazy. I took notes. I even take notes when I'm at the games. I'm nuts.
Nice. I got it. We gotta see a game sometime. That would be
for people.
That would be crazy.
Well, we will, because we'll get to a game together eventually.
We're gonna do that. Yeah. So that's it. It's as the Beatles said, the movement you need is on your shoulders. This is all there's probably not going to be some white knight coming in to help the team. It's all up to you guys. So mazel tov. Good luck. Figure it out, because if you don't, you're going to break that streak of making the playoffs. And how sad would that be if they didn't make the playoffs?
I said it. Remember, I said it. Watch them not even make the playoffs. I said it before the season started.
Wasting another year of Crosby, Malkin, Letang. Another year.
What is with this episode? Why am I so emotional?
Okay, we need to we need to make it more uplifting somehow. It's just
frustrating, because you're right. Like, I don't want to see another year go by where, you know, like, I think it's frustrating. You know, you bring in these guys, you want to keep them. Well, earn your spot, like play. Why, like, don't make us look stupid for bringing you back. I talk like, anyways. Yeah, it's frustrating, and it really boils my blood every time, you know, a season goes by and Sydney ages. Like, I wanted to see him with, you know, like 5 or more cups. So
yeah, it's not happening. I guess we should be happy with 3, but
it could happen. It's just under the right people need to be involved.
Did you know sea otters hold hands when they are asleep to keep drifting apart?
Yes.
How cute is that?
Adorable.
Yeah.
Penn's players need to hold hands while they're they got to look out for each other more. I just feel so, this team's so disconnected.
Did you know turtles can breathe through their butts?
No.
I'm trying to have uplifting. I'm trying to end this episode on an uplifting note.
I had to turtle sit for like 2 months last year.
How hard is it to take care of a turtle?
I mean, it's not hard. I used to sit and sing to them and like talk to them every day. And one almost made an escape from his like area, and I was tripping out because I wouldn't touch it. And it was difficult, but it was cool. Like, they'd get excited when I came to feed them, and you could kind of feel their excitement for the food, which is, you know, it's a form of love, and I lapped it up.
Rats laugh when you tickle them.
I'll definitely be sure to do that next time I see a rat. Come here, you grimy, infested little creature. Let me tickle your.
Oh man, this is before your time, because you're such a youngin. But in the 90s, when Florida was,
I was around in the 90s.
When Florida was first around, as the Florida Panthers were first around, for some reason they adopted a rat as their like
Well, that's why
mascot.
they get the rats on the ice.
They threw the rats on the ice, and actually, that was one of the better Penguins teams that they beat in the East. Was it the Eastern Conference Finals? Oh my God, did Florida make it to the Stanley Cup Final? I think they did. Yeah, and that was that rat team. But that was, I mean, that's cute that they all threw rats on the ice, but also a little bit dangerous. I'm guessing the team supplied the
They were
rats.
fake rats, weren't they?
I would hope they were fake rats.
Oh my
That
God,
would
you're
be
gonna get a
really.
heart attack and then I'm gonna cry again.
Did you see who is it? Is it in Hershey where they all throw the teddy bears on the ice at the same
Yeah.
time? That's really cute. That's really good. I believe they do that for charity or something like that. So
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
that's
Like
uplifting.
It is. It is. I think they should do more of that stuff and less of the theme nights. I mean, like, it's so frustrating. You take, like, I don't know if you're religious at all, Joe, but you take God out of certain things, religion out of certain things, and then you fill them in with all these other things. But it's like, why can't they all be there? You know what I mean? If you can't embrace what I am, but you expect me to embrace what you are, that's
We
doesn't
should
work
all
for
be
me.
and we should all be just allowed to embrace what we want.
I think
And
so. I think
you
so.
know,
And if they want to continue these theme nights, I don't think everybody should be forced to partake. Like, we are humans. And you know what?
life
It
is a
doesn't surprise me.
choice. Life is a choice. That's all.
It is,
You
but you
can
know
do.
what?
Hey,
Oh,
if
there's contracts,
you
they're
like,
signed, they're paid millions of dollars, they can put on this, that, the other. You know
if
what? Integrity is far beyond a paycheck, even if you're making millions of dollars. Your life and your beliefs mean more than what you do. You are more than your job. You are, period. And I know a lot of players that are actual puppets. Will I write down? No, I'm not going there.
let's not go there. All right. Go back to tickling rats. We'll go back.
Tickling rats, it
Rats,
is.
if you tickle a rat, it laughs. How about that?
I want to experience that. I actually had a rat. Well, my class did, and my school, like when I was younger,
Oh
I
yeah.
think it was grade 7. We had a class rat, and everyone got to take it home for the weekend. But I got it for Christmas break one year, or March break. I forget which one. It was 2 weeks back then. And I loved this thing. I didn't even tell my mom. I just brought it home. I love all animals. Don't get me wrong. And it was a house. It wasn't
You brought back a pet rat.
and the cage and everything. And
Okay.
it was friendly.
Okay.
It was like, it wasn't one found in the gutter. It was bought from a pet store. So it was clean. It's not a dirty. Listen, I like animals. Okay.
We when I was a kid, we had a pet rabbit for a while, for a very short while. I did not know that my parents got the rat not as a pet but as dinner. So, one day the pet disappeared and, it was dinner. But I didn't know that. They didn't say,
like, take the fur out and then skin it. And
yes. Yeah.
gangster.
I don't know. Yeah, they're okay. They killed their own, was it turkey or a chicken? They were going to kill, they were going to kill a chicken, but the chicken had other ideas. And if you ever see the phrase, like like a chicken with its head cut off, they actually go crazy. They run all over the place, and they ran in my parents' house. They were just like all over the place, just knocking over everything. And I was
That's awesome.
I was a real little kid. I heard all the commotion, and I just went back to bed.
This all happened in Pennsylvania?
This happened in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Wow, wild times down there.
Wild. Well, my parents were wild. They were. That was some crazy stuff.
I know. I watched a couple of your mom's like videos, like the
oh my God,
I fell in love with her.
You would love my mom. You gotta you gotta meet my sister too, because you two are practically the same.
Yeah,
person.
definitely. So I gotta bring her some Canada snacks too.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. That's another. Okay, that's a depressing thing actually. The food in the United States sucks because we allow all the chemicals into it, but the food from like Canada and Europe does not have those. They don't allow those chemicals. So the food in Canada and Europe is much better than the food.
Ours isn't that much better. It's kind of crap. Like I eat a lot of organic and like, yeah, food.
That's good.
It's good. So crap. I don't even like, when you go to the grocery store, the outside will have like your produce, your meats,
right,
and whatever, and then everything on the inside is all your processed stuff.
Junk.
I
Yeah.
don't even go down those aisles.
Good. That's what
Only
you're
if I
supposed to do.
need
Go
oil.
stay on the outside.
Only if I
But you
need
know what?
oil or something.
You know
But
what
yeah,
really stinks? It is very expensive to eat healthy, and it's very cheap to eat the
to eat
junk.
crap. And you know what? In America, like the Walmarts, it's like going to a Walmart is like an activity. Here it's a chore, but there it's like there's so much going on. Like your cereal aisle goes for miles. Same with your snack aisle. And it's like you come to Canada and you're like, right? But then again, it's all junk. It's really, really bad for you. But it was endearing when you showed me that picture with your sister and her Canadian snacks. And right
Yeah.
away I made a note, me making notes.
Oh, you're gonna get some snacks.
Get
Yeah.
Angela some
We
Canada snacks for
do
my
you
next time down.
we call them Reese's cups, but I believe in Canada they just call them Reese. Is that true? The peanut butter cups.
Reese's.
Oh, they call them Reese's there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Some
just
people call them Reese's,
Reese's. Yeah,
but
yeah,
they're
Reese's.
Reese's. Yeah, I think
Reese's
so, Reese
Pieces.
cups.
All right. Well, we got to work. That's what we got to work on the second half. Something positive. We got.
Yeah,
it ain't this hockey
three
team.
times. Heinen's out though, really?
Heinen right now, he's I guess a healthy scratch, but those are just those aren't official changes. We'll see. They play tomorrow against Colorado, so we'll see what happens. But apparently in practice,
Colorado's not even doing that well this year, but
they're not. They're not. But
neither are we.
will see. We will see. All right. Well. Anytime I talk to you, it's still uplifting. I don't care. I don't care if it's bad news or not.
Even when you make me cry, you're still happy.
All right. I'll see you.
It was good. I wasn't sure what we were going to talk about tonight. I'm like,
there you go. And we filled up almost an hour.
Perfect.
Talking about tickling rats and candy. See? Well, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
All right. I'll see you.
All right. Bye.